Call the regular session of the City Council for July 11th to order. Would you call the roll, please?
Hay,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
First item is the approval of the regular session minutes for June 27th.
I move we approve June 27 regular session minutes.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Williams.
Abstain.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Next item is a public hearing. I need a motion to open the public hearing for the annexation of property into the City of Mexico city limits.
Make a motion.
I move for the opening of the public hearing for an annexation of property.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
The annexation request, Mr. Haig, I'm the wrong direction. Mr. Slagle.
I mean, it'd been a quick one.
Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, we have a request from a couple of property owners to annex property that's in the south central part of the community. And to cover the details of the request, Rita Jackson.
Good evening, Council. The City of Mexico has received a notarized petition from Property Investments of Mexico Mo, LLC, with George Hoffman, Robbie Miller, and Chris Miller as partners to annex their property, a 22.21-acre parcel located east of Pearl Motor Company and south of the Arthur Center into the city limits, as outlined in red on the attached map. The City of Mexico has also received a petition from Milan Investments, Inc., doing business as Milan Insurance Agency and SP8 LLC, to annex their property, 3100 Dorelli Lane, into the city limits. Since the agency is located on this property, the county assigned it an address for 911 purposes. Which is also outlined in the blue. With this annexation, we have two other parcels that are basically outside of what we're annexing tonight, which is, as you can see on the Property Investment of Mexico, MO, the little building that's sitting in front, that property will be annexed into the City of Mexico at a later date, and also the property in front of 3100 Dorelli Lane, just a little square immediately to the west. They came in after the notification for the publication of this one, so it will come as a public hearing at a later date. Both of these are voluntary annexation, and the City of Mexico outlines Missouri Revised Statute Section 71.012, subsections 1, 2, and 3. The city feels that this annexation is reasonable and proper for development into the city. The city has the ability to furnish normal municipal services to this area. And basically, the purpose of this hearing tonight, the public hearing, is to obtain input from any interested person, corporation, political subdivision regarding the proposed annexations. After a 14-day waiting period, if no objection is filed, City Council will be presented with an ordinance for the annexation. Staff recommends the council proceed with the advertised public hearing. The public hearing was advertised on June 25th and July 2nd in the Mexico Ledger.
Council, have any questions for Ms. Jackson? This is a public hearing. If there's anybody in the crowd that would like to make a statement, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and try to hold your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing no one, I could use a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
The next item is an ordinance, 2 readings by title only and passage, Bill number 2022-33, an ordinance rezoning property bounded on the west by Mary Street, on the north by the city limits, on the east by Highway J, and on the south by the Veterans Drive, and amend the district map referred to in Section 42204 of the Code of the City of Mexico, Missouri, zoning to R3A Multiple Family District. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, the public hearing regarding this zoning request was held at the last meeting on June 27th. Therefore, it is the time that if you wish to proceed with the ordinance, so we will only answer any questions that you have or additional information that you would like. The map has been provided, which does show the southern portion of the property is already zoned R3A. The northern portion, there was a request or a comment or a question at the last meeting referenced the flood zone, and you can see that outlined in blue. And Mr. McHugh did provide a basic site plan of his intentions with the property, of what he's looking at with this phase, and that's also been indicated on the map as well. So unless you have any questions, council, you may proceed as you wish with the readings with the ordinance.
Pleasure of the board.
Move for bill number 20, first reading of bill number 2022-33.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers,
Yes. Bill number 2022-33, an ordinance rezoning property bounded on the west by Mary Street, on the north by the city limits, on the east by Highway J, and on the south by Veterans Drive, and amending the district map referred to in section 42-204 of the Code of the City of Mexico, Missouri zoning to R3A multiple family district. Move for second reading of bill number 2022-33.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers,
Yes. Bill number 2022-33, an ordinance rezoning property bounded on the west by Mary Street, on the north by the city limits, on the east by Highway J, and on the south by Veterans Drive, and amending the district map referred to in section 42-204 of the Code of the City of Mexico, Missouri zoning to R3A multiple family district. I move for passage of bill number 2022-33.
Second.
Haig,
No.
Williams,
Yeah.
Miller,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Shivers,
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is Bill 2022-36, an ordinance creating a new Article 16, Chapter 42, titled Renewable Energy System within the Code of the Ordinance of the City of Mexico. Two readings by title only and passage. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor. Predominantly due to the popularity now of renewable energy systems, staff has felt the need to take a look at regulations regarding the building of such things, and what we are predominantly talking about is small wind energy systems as well as solar farms, and especially commercial, whether they be ground mounted or building mounted or so forth. So to cover the details of the proposed ordinance, Andy Fate, our building official.
Good evening, council.
Evening.
So as Mr. Slagle has pointed out, solar energy systems have become a lot more prevalent. We felt it necessary to start looking into this, and actually have had a ordinance drafted by our legal attorney who's with us today. The presentation I put together is just a summation of the ordinance to actually help you guys to understand exactly what is contained within it. So this ordinance will actually pertain to not only residential but commercial installations. It will encompass solar energy systems, whether it be roof-mounted or ground-mounted, as well as solar farms. It will also take into place geothermal systems. And finally, small wind energy systems will not be permitted as part of this ordinance. So they will exclude them from being placed in the City of Mexico. Any system that's actually been installed to date will be grandfathered and will actually be not required to meet the actual requirements of this article. The next slide, Patrick. Oh, never mind, I can do it. Maybe. Next slide. So, against solar systems, there's 5 overall requirements that they have to meet. before you actually go into the specifics of each of those systems. So first and foremost, it will require an application and approval of a building permit to actually erect. Any array will be constructed of a non-glare material and installed to avoid concentrated radiation glare on the neighboring properties or streets. It shall be the obligation of the property owner where the solar energy system is located to maintain such systems free of defects, deterioration, and rust. Fourth, an electrical disconnect will be provided, maintained, and labeled at a point near your electrical meter to facilitate emergency operations. This is specific to our public safety. And finally, shall not be utilized to display advertising. So let's talk about the specifics of each of the types of systems here. So roof-mounted systems, first and foremost, either must be mounted flush or parallel to the roof, shall only be installed to the rear of the property, so they're not visible from the front of the residence. And finally, flat roofs will require screening by an architectural feature. When you get into ground-mounted systems, they must be erected on the same laws of principal use that they serve. May only be placed in the rear yard with a maximum height of 6 feet. This goes along with our fence requirements. Must be black or gray in color. Shall be screened from view at grade at all adjacent streets or properties, and electrical wiring and conduit must be buried in conformance with adopted ICC codes. When you get into solar systems or solar farm systems, these may only be located in lots or parcels greater than 1 acre with an allowable lot to not exceed 1.25 miles. Secondly, must conform to setback height and lot coverage requirements for zoning districts in which the property is located. They must maintain compliance in relation to the City of Mexico's stormwater drainage requirements. Shall be screened from a view of grade from all adjacent streets and properties by natural man-made architectural feature. And again, electrical wiring and conduit must be buried in conformance to adopted ICC codes. And upon decision to close the facility must develop a commissioning plan or decommissioning plan for submission to the City of Mexico, and proposed work must have a bond posted against that work. This is mainly due to the fact that the disposal of these materials is significant, and we really don't want to have the city having to flip part of the bill for disposal of these materials. Getting into geothermal systems, this is relatively simplistic. They have to obviously abide by the typical regulations, but in addition to those, they must comply with the requirements set forth within our Article 9, Section 42579 for height and area tables for setbacks and zoning restrictions of the applicable zoning district. Obviously, we don't want somebody boring into another person's property. Which encompasses the second post, which is drilling and trenching shall be prohibited on any easement. And finally, installation must conform to Missouri codes and regulations.
Okay, go ahead.
So to kind of bring us into summation, our building application process, first and foremost, before when a person does actually decide that this is the route they want to go, that we are going to be required to actually bring to the table the following things. So specifics in regard to the property, any electrical plans that are associated with the work, manufacturer cut sheets and installation instructions, design and approval letter from the utility company, sectional drawings including plan reviews, elevations, and connections, and finally details on any ancillary structure that's connected with the building. And additionally, for roof-mounted system for solar, a represented picture cut sheet of what will be installed in the state of the existing roof. And secondly, a structural certification statement from a Missouri licensed PE or professional engineer. So all documentation will then be provided to me, reviewed, and a permit shall be issued upon acceptance of the design. And then finally, fee process. The fees are going to be a little bit different. They're outside of our typical building fee process. What is provided to you on the screen is the recommended building fee process. So questions?
Yeah, I do have a question. And I want to make sure I understand. I don't think I quite understand it clearly. If you would go back to
Yep.
the slide about being visible from the front of the structure. I don't know if you
One
have
more.
it or not.
Right
Yeah,
here.
right there. Okay, it says specifics of roof-mounted systems. It says shall be installed so that solar array is not visible from the front of the residence.
Correct.
What if your house
that-
faces?
But what do you have a south-facing roof?
So when in discussions with our legal attorney, you see this in a lot of communities, that a lot of people just don't want to look at solar panels on somebody else's roof. And so to combat that, you actually just require them to be placed where they cannot be seen by other individuals.
But we would make that decision, right? We would make that decision, correct?
Correct.
I don't feel like that would be fair to people to say, well, you can save money. 'Cause, I mean, the reason people do this is to save money. So, I mean, if your
Correct.
house you own a house right now and it happens to be facing south, it's not
It
fair to those people to
definitely
go, you
does
can't do it.
challenge, yeah, it does challenge your ability, depending upon what, the way your house faces, whether or not it's actually getting the predominant sun appropriately.
I mean, going forward, if somebody builds a house, maybe you can say something like that, but I don't know how you punish people that already have a house.
Oh, you're not going to, they're grandfathered.
No, I'm saying, but if they were to build the system on their house, going forward, they wouldn't be able to, correct?
If you were going to build a new house, you couldn't plan to have your
Oh,
solar
I'm
system
following, yes.
on the south side.
You said the panels have to follow the roof line. What if the house faced south and the panels would then have to be on the north side? Can the panels come off the roof and come up?
Can it be engineered? If you look, it says,
You know what I'm saying?
yes, I know what you're saying.
That would look even worse.
Flush or parallel. So against this, no, they can't because the ordinance says flush or parallel.
I
to the
read
roof.
that.
But you're saying that, so someone that's got a south, and I've got a huge south roof, no solar panels. But what you're saying is that I couldn't put solar panels there because I don't know where I should put them on our property. Yeah, sir.
So what we've tried to do is to strike a balance between the aesthetics and the efficiency of the solar panels. And so it's not that if you have to install them on a north-facing roof, they won't work. There might be a degradation in efficiency. I don't know the engineering of the percentage of the degradation, but generally, for most houses, I don't think it's that significant, given the way modern solar panels operate. Although, Drew, you might, I don't know if you know anything about this or not, but generally, that is the decision a lot of communities make. If you want to maximize the efficiency of these and provide a better market for those, you can certainly allow them on front facing. But I mean, then, as Andy said, you might be getting some complaints from people because they don't want to look at them and it's aesthetically displeasing. So that's the balance to be made.
Now, if you put it on the ground behind the south-facing house on the north side,
You're on the north side, and that's our woods.
yeah, I know, but I mean, if you did, so that it catches the south sun, now how does that affect the sight line of the people on both sides of them? Because it says there that you don't want your neighbor to see them.
Well,
Andy can talk about the requirements for ground systems, but
against that, against your point, they have to be screened from view at grade.
Okay.
So that's what's in the ordinance.
So they could have a ground-mounted one?
Yes.
Even if they found it faced south?
That's sort of leaves me,
So there-
they're leaving something, the whole thing. But, okay, all right. So like, we've got several buildings in town that have the solar panels on the roof, and they're all grandfathered, right? I mean, they
Correct.
still get their solar panels. But this applies to, does this apply to commercial people
This is
then?
commercial as well as residential.
So like the big, like some of, like what I'm thinking of on Kentucky Road, is you turn, I mean, on the corner of Kentucky Road and in the highway, and you turn there, and there's a big solar panel.
Yep.
They could not put that there.
Correct.
Right.
Another prime example is Moments out on Paris Road.
Yeah,
You know,
they got 'em.
their entire front of the building.
And we're going to see more and more of them. I'm not so sure
I don't like the fact we're penalizing some people. I mean, if their house is already built, their house is already built. You know what I mean? If you build a house going forward and you know these rules are in place, fine, and you choose to build that, that's on you. But for people who have been here with 30-year-old houses, they can't just, you know, and to your point, the degradation, I mean, when I had them come out, because I looked into doing this in my
You really?
house, and it was
Yeah, do you really
significant
think there'd be a
between
lot
the
of
south and the
complaint? Yeah,
north.
do you really think people would complain as far as solar panels on their neighbor's house?
It's just trying to combat it, but
Do I think so? Yes.
You think so?
They could be. They
You
could
don't
bring
like,
it
well, I mean, but we're entering a new age of,
I mean, they listen to some of the complaints on some of the other things that we've had and seen in the community. Right.
But you can,
Complain.
so if you live in the backyard, it's fine to see it on the roof. You don't get it, you can't complain. I mean, really, I mean, that's what you're saying. I mean, we just don't want people in the front yard to know. Well, how's that fair to the people who live behind me then? Like, you have to look at it if you live by me, but you don't have to look at it if you live in front of me. That just doesn't seem, to me, it's about fairness, and I just,
this code you brought up, this new code, clearly, we don't have any code on as far as any of this stuff.
we don't have code.
We don't have any.
What's interesting is there is nobody in the surrounding area that has this code as of yet. I think we are kind of laying the groundwork. The biggest concern for us is the fact that there is an immense amount of this getting installed within the city, and we really don't have the ordinances to govern.
I understand that. The other question I was going to ask you, is anybody in our whole area got any of this in their books yet, as far as these codes go? Any of the towns around us, or Columbia? Does Columbia?
Columbia's, I can't find anything. They've got to have something because they're building solar farms. So there's got to be something, unless they are dependent upon a single section of the ICC. Which is, I mean, there's minimal amount within the ICC as well. I think it's dedicates a chapter right now, the solar.
I'm good with everything but the front and back solar panels.
What did you say? I can't hear you.
So I'm good with everything but limiting the front and back. Everything else is fine,
People
but-
complaining and then not getting, not being happy
There's
with it.
cars sitting around town people complain about. So, I mean, like, any way you want. Like,
Well, yeah, if we're arguing aesthetics, there's other aesthetics around town that need to be taken care of
Right.
before a solar panel on the south side of the roof. I mean, plus, I mean, I don't know, and then if your roof faced east or west, you're good, I guess.
And nobody complains?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I think.
Is that right?
Being kind of picky. I mean, I can see the solar farms are kind of regulating that. I mean, I know people are getting this, but I mean, what's the projected, in 40 years, everybody have a solar panel on their roof? I mean, what are we seeing? I mean, what's Columbia have percentage-wise of solar panels on their roof? I mean, that's a pretty big city compared to us. And I understand getting an ordinance put in place, but I mean, I don't know if we have to sprint to it, because I don't think I see solar panels going up right and left on roofs right now. I mean, now, I get the solar farms and stuff like that, we want to be careful. I don't think we want a solar farm right in the middle of, the city, but I agree with the other councilman.
Well, I mean, I'm saying you've already got you've got buildings here in town that already have their residences and commercial, and they got these, big solar displays, and then all of a sudden, we want somebody to build a new building, they want to build a new building, they can't have solar displays. I don't know.
Could we possibly, I mean, I know it's something we could possibly do, just sort of give ourselves a week or two so we can each do some more research on the solar panels and different things and maybe.
A little more, maybe a little more.
And then make a decision on it because.
You don't have to pass it tonight.
Sure.
We can table it.
Yeah, and when you,
It's not even
I think it was, I thought it was Callaway County that has done some stuff that says they don't want solar at all. Isn't that what I heard?
That's New Bloomfield, I know, has, and, yeah, I think it was actually moving in Calvert. I don't remember.
Yeah, so there are some places that are just banning them, period.
And why is that? Just because of aesthetics?
Yeah.
It's aesthetics plus what he was mentioning about the cleanup, that they're
Right.
finding out that after 10 years, these solar farms, they've got to start replacing them. What do you do with all that mercury and stuff? And
Well, the solar panels have to be replaced. How often, Andy, do you know?
Chris, I can't tell you.
from what I heard, they start really needing it after about 10 years. But they still work. They work forever.
Well, they
It's
lose
just-
the
it's just
efficiency
they-
after a while.
Yeah, they lose the efficiency.
So then you have to take them down maybe after 20, 25 years.
The contracts I've seen on these, it's right at 25 years.
Yeah, so I was thinking of something like that.
Let's,
You want to table it?
let's do it.
Talk
I'd like a
about it?
little more time to, maybe talk to, even if we had some more time to talk about it and look around this and see what's going on.
See what everybody, I'd like to know what everybody else.
You should have a motion like we did last.
I make a motion to table
it to the
the-
next meeting or whatever you want to do.
I make a motion to table the proposed
Bill
ordinance
2022-36.
2022-36.
To a certain date.
Let's do it 2 meetings out.
Yeah, I give us a month, next month.
Go to
So
August.
3, because the second meeting is going to be during, Bill up 2, we're going to be looking at budget and we're going to be here all night already.
So in August.
Just FYI.
End of August, last meeting in August.
So you're taking it to the last meeting in August?
August, yeah.
I don't want to have to table everything we ever comes before us, but I just, we seem a little quick on this, and I'd just like a little more information.
Who is seconding?
I second.
Good, thank you.
Hay,
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Number 6, a resolution, Bill number 2022-37, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign a contract amendment with Kim Huskin Environmental Consultant LLC for industrial pretreatment program services. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, we already have a contract with Kim Hoskins, also known as Kim Heck as far as company goes, and does pretreatment and consulting work for us, and we just have more to do. And to cover the details of this resolution, Drew Wilford.
Well, good evening, council. This is fairly self-explanatory. Kim Hoskins Environmental Consulting, or Kim HEC, as Bruce mentioned, she provides our industrial, pre-treatment program services, so anything out in the wastewater plant which involves discharges from local industries. And we have permits with each of those local industries, and as part of this process, we have a contract with her for currently a total of $23,100. There's additional work which does need to be conducted as part of the process this year. We're anticipating that she has requested an additional $15,000, which would bring the total for the contract up to $38,100. And we do have sufficient money in the budget for this. We have $40,000 total in the budget, and we have $16,000 something remaining in the budget. So we would recommend proceeding with reading the title only and passage of the attached resolution. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
So, she wants a raise? Is that what we're, I mean,
It's
What do we-
it's for additional work that was, in essence, that original contract was dated back in October of last year. There's been additional items that have come up, plus work that is still planned to be done. At this point, we've reached our end of the allotted money.
Okay.
And if we're going to continue in meeting our pre-treatment goals and permit conditions, it's estimated to have about 15,000 additional work.
okay.
Pleasure of the board.
I move for reading of bill number 2022-37.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Bill number 2022-37, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign a contract amendment with Kim Hoskins Environmental Consulting LLC, Kim Heck, for industrial pretreatment program services. I move for passage of bill number 2022-37.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Next item under other business, staff report purchase of a 2022 Chevrolet Colorado four-wheel drive crew cab for the Community Development Department. Mr. Slater.
Yes, Your Honor, this is a vehicle that we've had budgeted, but we have found trouble in finding it, but we finally was able to locate one through Pearl Motor Company here in town. To cover the details of the bid, Rita Jackson.
And advertisements for bids were placed in the Mexico Ledger. We listed it on the website and mailed it to 7 vendors for a 22 or 23 model year extended cab Chevrolet Colorado, a Ford Ranger, a Dodge Dakota, or equivalent four-wheel drive pickup for the Community Development Department. Staff received no bids. Staff requested area car dealerships to continue to look for that vehicle, and if they were to find one, please contact the city. Pearl Motor Company found a vehicle which met the city's specifications, which was a 2022 Chevy Colorado four-wheel drive. Bid price was $33,529 with trade. The 2021-2022 annual budget allowed $25,000 for a replacement mid-size pickup vehicle for the Community Development Department. The vehicle will be used by the building and code specialist. Currently, that position has a 2006 Chevy Colorado with approximately 100,000 miles, which, as we stated, will be used as a trade-in. The additional cost for this purchase will be comprised of current fiscal year general fund savings or general fund project reserves. Staff recommends that council approve the purchase of a four-door extended cab for the Community Development Department for the bid price of $33,529 with trade.
Board.
Make a motion to buy the truck from Pearl.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Next one is appointment to various boards and commissions, and the first one's planning and zoning. And Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor. Michael Myers and Brian Gruber's terms expired at the end of June. Mr. Myers and Mr. Gruber have both expressed interest in reappointment. We also received an application from David Knoll expressing interest. So we do have 2 positions for each 3-year term, and this is an appointment by City Council.
Need a motion from the council.
I move we appoint Michael Myers and, it's two seats,
Yes.
right? Michael Myers and Brian Gruber to the board.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Next one is Mexico Library, Audrain Library Board. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Karen Mosman and Steve Simmons' terms expires here at the end of July. We also had a resignation with Jessica Akron from this board. Ms. Mosman and Mr. Sims have both expressed interest in reappointment, and then we also did receive an application from John Walker expressing an interest in serving on the board. So we have 2 3-year term positions, and we have an unexpired term that would expire in 2023.
Pleasure to the board.
Are the other 2 wanting to be reappointed?
They are.
Okay.
So Mossman and Sims are reappointments, and then the Walker would be a new
Right,
appointment.
so we probably need 2 different motions, one for the 2 3-year terms and then one for the unexpired.
Oh, okay. I move for Mossman and Sims for the 3-year term, and then for Mr. Walker for the...
That's another motion.
That's another.
Oh, sorry, my fault.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Now,
Oh, I move for John Walker for the unexpired term.
Second.
Hay.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Last one is Mexico Parks Board, and this is a city manager appointment.
Yes, Your Honor. What we have here is Kathy Hopkins, Lindsay Isrieg, and Terry Hennich's terms have expired at the end of June. All of them would like reappointment. We also did receive applications from John Walker and David Knoll. Mr. Walker obviously was just appointed to the library board. This is a reappointment for 3 terms for 3 years each. Therefore, I would recommend reappointment of Kathy Hopkins, Lindsay Isrieg, and Terry Handrich, and I would ask that the council make a motion to concur with my appointment.
I make a motion to concur with the appointments by the city manager to the Mexico Park Board.
Second.
Hay.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Next item is the payment of the claims.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Hay.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Abstain.
Next item is council comments, and begin with Mr. Hague.
It looked like a fun, safe 4th for the city of Mexico, so I'm glad everybody had a good time and it was safe. And so getting a little warmer. It's supposed to cool down tomorrow, but that's all I have for tonight.
Mr. Williams?
I'll ditto the 4th of July, and I will say thanks for finally coming into the city, you guys, you know? And you, see?
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Talking about it, they haven't come in yet.
Mrs.
What?
Briggs?
They-
We made the
we didn't
commitment.
Oh, yeah. They're coming.
Mrs. Briggs?
Well, there's always things going on in town, and I know that my husband's on that Presser choir thing, Presser Pipes, and I know the music was handed out for the Christmas program, so I know that's going to happen, and also the play that's going to happen, Sister Act, and so that's way down the road, but it all comes pretty quick, so always something happening, something to pay attention to.
Dr. Shivers?
I do want to say, ditto everything about the 4th. It's great to see that we're trying to be proactive in the area of starting an ordinance for renewable energy. I know it's going to take us a little bit longer, but I think it's great that we're thinking ahead instead of being behind the 8 ball sometimes. So that's all I have to say.
Mr. Slagle?
Yes, on the 4th of July, we certainly want to thank Mr. Tyron Liu for his contribution to the community of his fireworks display, and certainly the New Lions for theirs as well. And I know that both events and weekend-long events was very taxing, especially to public safety and to the Parks Department. And after speaking with them and talking to some of the officers and everything, all of them said it was, all good events. They said it was busy, but it was manageable. And but we certainly do appreciate all their hard work because it couldn't be done without them. So we want to do a little bit of a shout out for them and thank them for their service and what they did over the weekend for the community.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll take public comments. If you'd like to make a public comment, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and try to hold your comment to 3 minutes. Seeing nobody to appear, I move return.
Second.
Hay.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.